So welcome back everyone to another conversation with the Future Farm team. We are really, really excited to introduce you to Laura, who's our social media manager today. Laura, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Very well. Very excited for lockdown to start easing in the UK here. Um, so yeah, positive thoughts and energies and
Bye.
vibes all around. So you joined us a good few months back, and interestingly, your background is actually in film, and you're looking after all of our social media and our comms networks from here. So I'd love to find out a little bit more about your journey of how you've gone from like film studios to the Future Farm.
Right. So it's growing up. Film was a passion. Well, it still is. But I had a passion for the power of communications and imagery and the visual arts, and so that's what I decided to pursue film at university. But then I worked for like a few years, but I realized that it wasn't fulfilling me. So I decided to make a transition onto another industry. But I wanted to keep the core element of film, so like engaging with audiences, the power of imagery, etc. Um, so doing my research, I realized that comms and social media is where I wanted to be at. Um, and actually, through my research, that's how I found the Future Farm. Uh, and then I started to do some upskilling in that area. I did some courses in digital marketing, etc. Um, but the thing that I like about the Future Farm was that it was a startup. So that's what I wanted to be in that ecosystem. I wanted to grow in a company that was growing at the same time as I was. Um, and also, I wanted to bring the mental health experiences that I have to the work that I would do with the company or the place I would work at. And also, the most important thing for me about the Future Farm was that I was really aligned with the values they
Mm.
have. And that's pretty much my journey. Yeah, that's how I got here.
Brilliant. Well, I mean, and we've loved having you here as part of that as well. So you mentioned your mental health experiences. I just want to find out a little bit more about this. So you, you're a very passionate mental health advocate. What was your path like to become that?
Um, so I think mental health is a struggle for many people, um, especially now in the world we're living with COVID, with multiple lockdowns, etc. Um, so I think that's helped people to be more aware of it. However, it's still hard for many to understand the realities of mental health.
Yeah.
And I've personally been through struggles with mental health. And slowly I came to the realization that I was suffering depression for many years, that I was even undiagnosed. It was partly because I had hypothyroidism, and so that would um, give me also depression, and also partly for experiences that I lived through life. Um, so I wanted to use my experiences to help other people, because I truly believe that when you talk about your own stories, you're able to make more impact and you're able to connect with people in a much deeper level. Uh,
Mm.
so that's why I just wanted to express what I went through to help other people and put that in my work.
And it's interesting because, given your experience, you can kind of see that actually becoming a storyteller and becoming a content curator then actually fits in quite nicely with that, right? Like you're taking your story and you're looking at actually how you can connect with others from that. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, so with that, that's exactly what you obviously do at the Future Farm, right? You author essentially our messages through all of our channels, um, and you know, using these skills of storytelling and your expertise with imagery and communications. How are you hoping personally to encourage healthy entrepreneurship?
Um, I guess the first thing to talk about is that for us, healthier entrepreneurship means better mental health, um, and we want to make a difference in that area. We want to make people comfortable with what we do. So what we're doing, or what I'm doing in my work as a social media manager, is through the Future Farm, we want to create this sense of community. We want to create a network that has a support system for all entrepreneurs and put the mental health as a forefront of what we do. I think we do that quite well with our resources, with our tools. We give people a voice, for example, on the podcast, because it's not only, we don't want to talk about only about the tech bubble, for example, that everyone goes through when they think about an entrepreneur. We want to talk about any kind of entrepreneur. And that's what I'm trying to do so through social media and on comms. We want to reach out to maybe entrepreneurs that don't know that other people are going through these, you know, because I guess it can be quite lonely at times for some entrepreneurs to go through these kind of new adventures. So we want to reach out to them and be like, hey, there's a support system here. There's some tools, there's things that we can give you so you don't feel so lonely in this adventure. I guess that's what I'm trying to do, is just give people that safe space, well, entrepreneurs, that safe space to be at.
Brilliant. So on that, so obviously one of the ways that we do that is we build these wider conversation pieces with the communities that you're building. So at the moment, our conversation piece that we're running is around imposter syndrome. I would love to tap into your experience on this. So, what is your relationship with self-doubt of your skills and your talents been, if at all? And, if that is something you've experienced, do you have any mechanisms that you've used to tackle this?
Yeah, that's something I definitely experienced in the past, and I still go through. I guess myself, like, to me, imposter syndrome is very related to self-worth. And in my personal experience, there's been sorry, that sound. There's been external and internal factors to that. The external factors would be the value from others. So we live in a society that values certain things above others. And I guess I've been always seeking some recognition from other people, especially within my industry. And I guess those external factors, I did internalize them and create that massive self-doubt, especially when I was working with people with much more experience than me, which I did very early on in my career in the film industry. And so even if I tried to, I did learn from them, and I did develop better skills on that. But also, I was always told that whatever you do your best. And that I took it to a completely different level. And I thought, okay, that means a competition with myself.
Right.
And that's not the way it should be at all. So the way I combat is, I've mentioned that I've had severe depression in the past. And I feel like I had to get to that breaking point to realize, okay, I need to reset. This is not the way I can be at all. So I had to find new ways of managing the situation. And things like I did was writing. I write a lot. It's a way for me to let my emotions, go. And also when I go back and read, I put things in perspective. It's like, Is this really what's happening, or is the imposter syndrome creeping in? I also use affirmations pretty much every day. They work really well for me. And I make sure that I check in with myself almost every month or so. I check in with myself and with my values and what I value about myself. And also, besides the work that I'm doing with the Future Farm, I'm also mentoring teenagers at the moment. I'm helping them realize that their self-worth is beyond what social media can say it is. Yeah, so that's also the work that I'm doing outside the Future Farm.
That's so important. I think mentorship of young people is so critical. So I love to find, I love how that you're doing that. Can you like tell us a bit more about that? Like, how did you get involved? Is there particular aspects of, you know, mentorship that you're giving them?
So that came out when I did my transition from the film industry to this new industry. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I was doing my research, and I didn't have a job at the moment. And I thought, do you know what? I'm going through all of these changes myself, and I think I can give my experience to younger adults.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that when I was younger. I didn't have that when I was a teenager. So I wanted to make sure that no one has to reach that low point to make a change in their lives.
Yeah.
So I got involved with these charities called Family Friends, and what they do is they mentor young adults, and they also mentor parents with younger adults. So I did, I think it was like 2 weekends. Yeah, it was 2 weekends of training, because also you need to go through extensive training. You need to make sure that you know what you're going to teach to these kids. And yeah, I've been doing that for almost half a year now. It's a bit difficult because it's all through screen.
Yeah.
So hopefully very soon I can meet my mentee face to face. But it's so fulfilling. It's so great. I think like they teaching me more than I'm teaching them, you know. It's great. I love it. Absolutely love it.
It's so good to hear. And I think and it's interesting because you hear that feedback a lot from mentors and mentees, and that it's you know, it's a two-way, you know, two-way relationship.
Yeah, because I also have a mentor. It's
Right.
more on my career rather than like life itself. But yeah, I think it's such a good relationship to have. I think it's really important, especially for young adults. They're developing now, and it's such a difficult time to be developing.
Oh my,
Not only with the lockdowns and COVID, etc., but the way society is portraying what we value right now is not what we valued when we were younger. You know. So I think it's important to come back to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, without getting too political, it's a very divisive time. You know, so it's, I think, any helping hand that we could be giving each other, or just showing kindness, which is essentially what mentorship is, right? Like a lot of it.
Yeah, just being there. I think my key thing is being there to listen to them and make sure they know that there's someone that is actually listening, not hearing what they say.
Yeah.
Sometimes they feel that they're not listened to, that they are just, you know, that there's not support for them.
Yeah.
I didn't have that kind of support when I was a younger adult.
Yeah.
And I think having that now, it's brilliant. There's more and more about like on that, but not enough, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you do stop and think, because I think, you know, when we were growing up, the conversation around mental health and reaching out for support was, you know, it was very different. It was actually you know, didn't exist. And you do think like, actually, had you had that, you know, what kind of healthier person, or maybe not healthier, I don't know, but you would have been a different person, right?
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely. I mean, I had depression when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And it was undiagnosed, and it was heavily stigmatized.
Yeah.
It's such a shame because my experiences would have been completely different,
Yeah.
having given the tools that we try and even through the Future Farm give to other people, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
And yeah, it's ridiculous. But I think I mean I love what you've done with it though, in the sense that if something you've made something good come out of what was a dark horrible time, in that like
Mhm.
you're on this mission that no one is going to
Yeah,
have to experience it again, because you're taking you've done the hard lessons
yeah,
so that you can support the next generation of people
yeah.
through it. So
Yeah, something I teach them, or well, we talk about these, is that you don't have to dwell on the things in the past. It's just a learning experience. So
yeah,
kind of move forward from it and learn from it rather than
yeah,
just keep being in that dark space, you know.
yeah, absolutely. Well, this is something I've mentioned to you before, but in the time that we've got to know each other, I've loved your resilience. Like, I think it's such an incredible characteristic that you have, and yeah, it's brilliant. And when I was doing a bit of online stalking on you and like what you've done and everything, I saw that you're a kickboxer, and so I loved that, and I also thought that probably kind of makes sense with the resilience and that kind of mental and emotional stress as well. So what is on a lighter note, what has kickboxing meant for you? Like, I know it's quite a disciplined sport, so what's that taught to you? What's been your lessons from like the dojo to life that you've taken?
So I've always been a really active person. I played a lot of different sports, and kickboxing was something that I was always really really interested in. And it started, to be honest, it started as an outlet for my frustrations. Um, and the more I was doing it, the more I learned the discipline, like you say, the more I enjoyed it. Because it's not only sport, it's a discipline. And what I loved about it, it helped me find a focus. It helped me find a way of challenging myself because you're always working towards the next belt.
Yeah,
There's always some goals
yeah,
you're working towards. It's not like you're going to the gym and you get a run. There's something that you're working towards all the time. And so it became a passion, not just an outlet like it was. And what I apply, it's the discipline and and the focus that it gives me,
mm,
work on my work life and on my personal life, because it helps me. I think of, okay, I need to focus on the task. I need to focus on what it's in front of me. That's what you have to do at the dojo as well. So being kind of like being able to block all the noise when you're, on your daily life, you have to multitask. You have to wear so many hats.
yeah,
Um, so especially working from home now,
oh yeah,
because it's not like you're at the office and whatever it's happening at home, it stays at home and then you come back.
yeah.
So yeah, I guess that it's very similar to meditation, which I love doing and I do almost on a daily basis. It was my kind of meditation because on that hour and an hour and a half of practice, you just meditate and you just focusing on the next
Yeah.
punch, the next kick, the next. Uh, so yeah, and you need to be very focused on what's happening, otherwise you're gonna get the jab on your face, and that's not pleasant at all.
No, no, of course not.
Yeah,
Incredible. Well, I mean, this does bring us to the end of our little opportunity of recording with each other on this one. But this has been awesome. Thank you so much for
thank you.
opening up about your experience and journey to date and your mission. And yeah, I think we're all really excited to see what you do here at the Future Farm with us.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what's next. I'm really excited and very happy to be part of the Future Farm.
Oh, amazing. Right, brilliant. Well, listen, have a good day. Take care.
Thank you. You too.